Fantastic. Thank you very much, Hanno. Appreciate the warm welcome, guys, and congratulations to my fellow speakers that came before me. It is a pleasure being back in Munich. Some fine Oktoberfest memories from recent times. I'm going to put out there my definition of success. I'm very, very different to the colleagues, the speakers that spoke before me, and I want this pretty much to evoke some thought. You mightn't agree with any of my thinking behind it. You might be the opposite of where what direction I'm going myself in. But just let it sit in your mind and hopefully think about it a little bit further this evening. Just to give you a little bit about my background, maybe similar to what you guys grew up in. Half Irish, half French. I grew up between Ireland and France, went to school, went to Dublin City University, got a business degree, and then got myself a job. I worked for the European Rugby Cup for a while, so it was an events-based job, but still kind of behind the desk and then traveling around Europe putting on these games. I'll come back to that in a little bit, but the first question that I want to ask and I want to put out there, what is success? So I'm going along with Benedict, big pictures and small writing. Hopefully that works out for me. I want to open it up to the room. Can anyone tell me what they see as being successful is, or what is success? Anyone? What is success?
Happiness.
Happiness, okay, yeah.
To be in harmony with his feelings and needs and share with others.
There you go. Sorry, can someone give him a hug? I would come over. Can someone, yeah. Apology, he must have read my script there, and I'm pretty much done. Yeah. Okay, good. So we must be singing somewhat along the same hymn sheet. Unfortunately, I've a good few friends and a lot of people I know, including my father, who comes from rural Ireland. At times might have been tough back then, but he quantifies success. His measurement of success is the size of his wallet, his bank account, or the paycheck you get in every month. This, what I find, what I call this narrow-minded thinking, can be pulled out from a lot of the problems that people are in today. That the main goal for work, where you spend 9 to 5, 48 weeks of the year, and most of your life working, is just to get money out of it. And my two friends here that want a lot of happiness from it, that is something that is fantastic. There's a lot of people in the consulting world, in the accounting worlds, in the big four, that I've talked to that don't enjoy their jobs, yet they do it so they can live for the weekend. They can go on the holidays 4 weeks of the year. And it's a very sad thing in my eyes. Through traveling around for the last couple of years, I've been on the road with no fixed abode, no fixed address for the last 2 years. And I've had the pleasure of moving around and work traveling around the world that has refined my idea and my thoughts on what success is. So again, think of it what you will. The way, you might be able to see it too clearly, but the way I class success for myself and how I look at myself and maybe look at other people is 3 things. The first one, the people you surround yourself with. And every great entrepreneur will always say that if they're not good at one skill, they'll bring someone in that's better at them, and they'll have a great team around them. You look at a tennis player, it's not about that one individual, it's about the coaching team around them. And so having great people around you, be it from all cultures, all nationalities, all of that, you get a much broader sense of who you are, I find, because you can compare yourself against other cultures and different things like that. The second is how much you smile every day. And I think this is touching on what you brought up. If you're smiling, you're happy, you're enjoying life. And for such a simple little thing that you mightn't put any thought into pretty much ever, if you're linking it to the first one, if you think about the people you're friends with that make you smile. Just think about it for a second. How many people you can name off the top of your head that make you smile? And they're the type of people that you want to surround yourself with. And if you can name more than 5, if you can on all 10 fingers, if you have that amount of people, with the top 2, you're somewhat successful, because it is an awesome thing. Smiling is for free. And And then the last one is the experiences you live. And for me, this is probably the biggest one. The experiences you live, I find, are what shapes you, and they are who you are. Having traveled the world, I worked in Boston in an events technology startup for a year and a half. And I was very lucky that it brought me on a Jack Wills university tour. Jack Wills is a British clothing manufacturer. We were going up and down America's East Coast, throwing out illuminous underpants at frat and sorority parties. So it was a pretty good setup, not very thought-provoking, but the fact that we were driving the whole way along the coast, we had 12-hour drives the whole time, and so with my two colleagues, they were in the car with me. All the small talk had gone from in the early hours, and it was the kind of the DMC, the deep, meaningful conversations, the real thoughts, and all of that, the fusion of my experiences and their experiences, made me realize that we're driving back up to Boston, and I was having the most incredible time of my life. We had a great investment. We could spend the money whatever way we wanted, but I realized if I go back to Boston, I'll have some new experiences and meet some new people. But if I move somewhere else, I'll have all new experiences and all new people. So I didn't really give myself that much of a decision, that much of a choice after that. I said I was gonna leave Boston, and I gave myself two options: either go to Buenos Aires to learn Spanish, or go to London and maybe try and set up this technology in London. So the Olympics, it was in 2012, the Olympics were coming up, so I said to myself, right, pack my bags, hit the road, head to London. I was pretty naive. I arrived a couple of months before the Olympics, touching base with all these big brands that were hopefully going to have promotions, that were going to be trying to engage with what the Olympics was. I missed the boat on that. I arrived too late. All the budgets were spent. People were blind. They weren't listening to any new ideas. So I realized I might have made a mistake. So I kind of took a step back and looked at myself, and was like, you know, I've kind of messed up. I had a really good life here in Boston, and after moving to London, I was a bit lonely. This is not really working out. I ended up through one of the failed meetings that I had, meeting up with a guy. I started making videos for Casio through that. Ended up going on the Yacht Week, and I met Hanno, and I met many other great friends that have gotten me to where I am today. So looking back on it in hindsight, when someone says, when one door closes, another one opens, at the time I could have punched him in the face, but looking back on it now, putting it down to experience, it has taught me so much. So when I do look at these three things, and everyone is an individual and everyone's different and everyone derives or quantifies success in different ways, but I feel when I look at these three things somewhat as an umbrella over people, it can help you figure out how you define success. Find a job you love and you'll never work a day in your life. I'm very lucky. I've worked hard towards it, but I'm very lucky to be in the situation that I'm in now. Traveling the world on a different continent each week and working different jobs, from emceeing to event managing to everything else Hanno said to me, told about me, sorry. And one thing I find, touching back on the 9 to 5, so many people live these commonalities. And I'm not particularly, I think with you guys, you're taking the time out of your valuable time to be here, so I don't think this touches too much on you guys, but commonalities, if you don't know what it means, it's doing something that you're just meant to do, that everyone does, that everyone just follows this path like sheep. You go to school, you go to university, you get a graduate job, you get a boyfriend, girlfriend, you settle down, you want to go traveling the world, but you're like, this job, I might get a promotion, and then you just keep following this line. You never chase that dream, you never take that risk. And what is the point in having dreams if you're not chasing them? And again, every great entrepreneur has always said, no risk, no reward. That if you don't take that step, you'll never get to that next point. So sticking with this comfort zone of being in this routine and not jumping out of it has brought me to believe in a lot of things. That commonalities, the life your parents want you to live is one thing that definitely made me move to Boston, and one that breaking away from the norm, setting up your own company, taking this risk, quitting your job, and trying for something different is exactly what I'd recommend to you guys here today. And it all goes back, and before that, you do need to look at what you're looking at, what you want to get from this, what are the pitfalls, and what are the benefits of the potential of quitting and chasing this dream, chasing the success. I want to... I want to give you an example of a gentleman that I met. That I was on this island called Bocas del Toro, which is a small Panamanian island off the coast of Panama in the Caribbean. And we're in this small little hostel, and this gentleman, I'll try and say this in the straightest way possible. He was very good looking, and he stood out from everyone else. And it just, I don't know, there was just something when you looked at it, it just didn't make sense. Everyone else was just backpacking, and this guy was just there making smoothies for €1 and giving them out. And so myself and my friend went up to him and I had a chat with him. And this guy was called John. He used to be a Ford model in New York, one of the world's and probably the best modeling agencies in the world. And he had what people would see as his dream job, this model traveling around the world, getting pictures taken of him and not doing that much work. He then gave up all that, sold his apartment, sold his car, and went to Panama. And we're just like, John, what are you doing? What's the thought behind this? What's the process? And he was in this modeling school and went on, which sounds funny actually now to say, this modeling school, and went on from there and had a career in this, but he didn't enjoy it. And everyone said, like, listen, it's crazy thinking of quitting something that you have to move to Panama, this small little country in Central America. But he did quit it. He did move to Panama, and he himself describes it as living the dream. That just because something that you believe in is out there, that no one else believes in you, that no one else thinks is possible, or that no one thinks it's good enough, be it your parents, they expected you to do so much better, or to get that consulting job, or to get whatever else. But he took that risk, and now he's living the best life that he can. And when I think back, and when I give talks, and I look at this story, and I think of this guy John, I've learned so much from him. In that, if you do have this dream, just go for it. Thank you very much, guys.